Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Bethel Public Utilities Commission to order for Monday, August 5th, 2019. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First order of business is public input. I don't think we have anybody joining us tonight. The only correspondence we have is what Bob passed out, right, and Tom? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve accept the minutes of the regular meeting of July 1, 2019.
I'll make that motion to accept the minutes of July 1.
Second.
All right, any corrections, comments? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Financials. Let's see.
The financial's not on there, but he wasn't sure who's gonna be here,
Ah.
for the next meeting, so he wanted to do it today.
Okay, well,
Have to add it.
all right, do you have a financial?
Yeah, I handed
report?
them out already.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're on the table.
All right, well, just to make this official, I'll put a motion on the floor to add financial report to, as item 1B. We'll just do that first.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that carries. Actually, before I call you up, I almost forgot. Kelly is asked to do his supervisor's report early because he has to get back out to a job site.
I'd like to get back to treatment.
Is there any objection to that?
No
from the
objection.
board? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Under old business, number 2, about the Maple Street wells, about exercising the schedule. I talked to the chief operator on that. We cannot run, there's not enough power there to run both wells. We'd like to be able to put one to waste and then the other one at the same time, the regular one that we're using. So what we've decided was we're gonna wait until October, November, when the usage is down. Then when we know that one well, running at 100%, will be able to fill the tank, and then we're gonna exercise it. There is a way of exercising, but we cannot run well 1 and 1A at the same time. It's just the way it's set up. But what we can do is, if we run off at 2, we can put like the front well on waste, and at that time, then we'll be able to exercise the 2 open wells. So that we're gonna, like I say, do in the fall when we know that one well will fill the tank and keep us full by doing that.
How long of a period are you exercising it?
I would say we do it just maybe 4 hours, just to make sure it's up and running. You know, if we have to go to whole day to go to waste, then that's fine too,
Yeah.
but just as long as we know it's running and the seals are good and things like that.
4 hours, would it be that much of an impact to shut that one well down during the day?
Yeah, because sometimes it takes till like maybe 10 in the morning to get that tank filled back up when there's a heavy draw. So that's why we want to start off with a full tank and know that we have one well that will keep that full while we're exercising the other one.
Just to not be during the peak season,
Yeah.
just to kind of do it in the off-season is a better time to do it.
How often you're gonna exercise these things?
Well, I mean, if we make it, I would say once every 6 months,
Okay.
as long as we do it on the
Yeah.
off-peak time.
Right.
If we were able to shoot for, say, October and April, October and March, that would probably be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Yep.
As long as we have an exercise
Yes.
period.
Yep. As for flushing, everyone's been on vacation this month, so we're gonna start that, weather permitting, after, Labor Day, just as long as we don't get into a real hot period, you know, where sprinklers are operating and stuff like that. That's the plan on that. Since we last met, we repaired the water main break on Crestview. That was the problem we were having with the pumps coming on, cycling so fast. They went from once every 8 to 9 seconds to as much as, I think I timed it Friday, I think it actually went 4 minutes before the pumps came back on. It just never showed itself. It wasn't bad enough leak to hear it, but we did find a leak on Crestview, so we went after that. It was a running break on the water main there.
You think that's been broken for a while?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it just, again, it never showed itself and we couldn't hear it. We listened all through there, we had people come in and listen on it.
So I think I heard you say you noticed a big difference in the
Oh,
on and
yeah.
off of the?
Oh, yeah. The pumps were coming on every probably 8 to 10 seconds,
Yeah.
which wasn't good.
No.
And we couldn't find the leak until it showed itself.
What are we doing now with them? But, what's the cycle now?
About 4 minutes, at least.
I think it was now, about 150 a day. I think I came up with it was probably like every 10 minutes now instead of every 10 seconds.
Oh, that's long, all right.
Instead of the pumps being running for 3 to 4 hours a day, they're running for like half an hour to,
Okay, all right,
3/4
that's-
of an hour.
That's excellent.
Big, it was big.
Yeah. Okay.
So main break on Crestview, we had a circle break on Diamond Elgin that was repaired. We have one hydrant back in service. We had a service leak south in Cemetery that was repaired. Renew a service at 69 Worcester, that was a galvanized service that the guy had really no control over, so we renewed that. As Paul said, we've got another service leak starting on Woods Hill. It's just starting to show itself in the middle of the hill, we're gonna be getting on that. All the hydrants that I had actual garbage bags on, I removed the bags and put all legitimate out of service signs, as well as putting, flushing only signs on the hydrants in the Briarcliff area, which the fire department will treat that area as a non-hydrant area because there's not enough of a flow there to sustain a house fire or what have you. That's all I have. As for what I said with Tremont, they're doing a tie-in now. All the services have been flipped off the 6 and the 4 transite. Hydrants are in service. Well, they will be as when I get back there in the next hour or so. They're moving along on that. So other than that, that's what I have.
Okay. Any questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right, moving on to, back to the financials, let's do invoices first. So I'll put a motion on the floor to approve invoices dated August 5, 2019 in the amount of $213,832.26.
Second for discussion.
Okay? So take a look at those. Have any questions? All the right people are here.
And Grasso, Tom and Meredith, you feel that that's adequate for the time that they've been here and everything? You concur with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Does this put them at, this puts them over 53% complete, doesn't it?
This number should put them at the 53.31.
That's really, okay.
I'll go back to number 1. Have you received anything as far as the design itself on the sewer?
For 9, 12, and 15, yeah, we had a preliminary meeting in June, and that's when I explained we came across some infiltration in now the other sub-area 14.
Okay,
And I wanted them to incorporate that into the design plans for the construction, because it was a significant enough leak. The other thing we did with 9, 12, and 15, when we did that a year ago, we got the swamp area cleared out,
great.
but they were never able to get in there with their equipment and do the TVing. I got them in there like this July, the July 1st week. The ground, was
dry enough.
was firm enough, exactly.
Yeah.
So they TV'd that whole swamp run area. But what I plan to do is, I think they have the specs just about ready. The plans are nearly ready. I'm gonna have a meeting with them and then schedule them to come in and see us at our next meeting.
Good, good. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
Thank you.
So the gist of that will be the construction plans and specs for the repairs.
Great, okay, good. I was concerned that we were just going along without them coming to visit us here.
No, that was me kind of holding them off, because I wanted
Okay.
them to get that swamp run done, number 1, and then I wanted to incorporate that sub-area 14 issue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Other questions, guys?
No?
Pete, anything? Okay, hearing no other questions, we have a motion on the floor to approve 213,832.26. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carries. Okay, 1B, financials. Bob, you wanna run
Yep,
us through this?
So, before the meeting, I handed out, the water and sewer reports. Water net surplus after the capital, expenditures is $1,645,758. We've got $1,264,000 in capital, expenditures there. We're gonna close the year in a really good position. There's some additional expenses based on what you just approved that are gonna go against the sewer and water department, but, still, I mean, nowhere near $1.6 million. When you look at, some of the capital improvements, page 6, 7, and 8 details, the major items. And, you got the Grasso Company so far at $450,646. Then you have True Blue at $236,517 and $431,510 for Wright Pierce, for a total of $1,118,673 out of the $1,264,000. So those are the three major components with the capital expenditures on the water department. And then moving into the sewer, after capital improvements again of $335,000. Which is basically Weston and Sampson. You've got $1,109,000 that is shown as the surplus. And if you look at page 9, the services of $705, $690 of that is our payment to the city of Danbury for the sewer system. And then I think that's pretty much it on sewer. So both departments are doing well. There's gonna be some adjustments to this. Normally, this report is given out in July, but we didn't have a meeting for the financials in July, so I figured I might be out 2 Mondays from now. Let me just do it now, and that's why I put it together at this point. August, we would normally be doing the July financials, which really don't show that much because it's only 1 month, so it's more informative, I think, to have the June numbers at this point.
Okay. All right, any questions?
So both sewer and water are in good position right now, if I'm reading this correctly, as far as your surplus is net of capital items.
Exactly.
Tom,
I mean, if you look at the water department, that second line down on the revenue, the $1,224,000, that's the grants that we've received from the state, and almost covers the capital improvements at this point. So, yeah, we're gonna have to pay it out over a 20-year period, but it's a 2% note, which a few months ago was a really good note. Now with the last ban that we did 2 weeks ago, we got 1.25, so that's 3/4 of a point less than that, but still 2% is really good.
Floating debt to the town for both, can we get that next meeting, or
The what?
the floating debt, outstanding debt for,
Is there anything owed back to the general fund?
Yeah, that's with the due to and due froms. I mean, I don't know about next meeting.
Okay.
It's a moving number,
I understand that.
you know, so we'd have to go back and just analyze the whole account.
Right. When
We should, once the, you know, audit is in process,
Yeah,
they're gonna be starting pretty soon. They came out about a month ago just to do some preliminary work, but once they do that, then we'll have a better idea.
okay,
Yeah.
that's usually completed by when, October, November?
By Christmas time, we normally get the report early December,
Okay,
so, but, I mean, there's indications on all the different phases, you know,
Yeah.
earlier on.
okay, good, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, moving on to director's report, Tom?
Sure, some of my items are agenda items elsewhere, so I'll just, the really one main item I wanna, mention is that swamp, run that they finally got in and looked at.
Yeah.
We weren't sure what we were gonna find there,
other than weeds.
We assumed, I was thinking even trees growing in there, but amazingly, the pipe's in good shape. There's no leakage coming in,
Wow,
and there's no roots growing
really?
through it. The issue there was sediment. They
Yeah.
pulled out over 3 tons of material
Wow.
throughout a portion of that, and I don't even know if that's the full amount from like Worcester all the way back to the station, but that very first pipe run, they spent almost a week cleaning that section out.
Mhm.
So it was a significant amount, and the guy from National Water Main, he said that's really a problem because of the weight of that material can
Yeah.
basically, you know, end up collapsing your pipe. He's seen it. So we were able to basically just keep jetting it and backing it, and jetting it and backing it, and moving his equipment down little by little. He got, like I said, over 3.5 tons out of there.
Did, analyze what it was? Was it
You know,
road sand or is it
It looked like,
sludge?
it looked like sand, grit, you know, like broken up asphalt. You know, I couldn't tell because it's all black, because
Yeah,
it's just been in that sewer line for so long, but it was amazing on how much material that,
Would it be for us perhaps to round up that whole line? Use it Roundup and destroy all the weeds?
Oh, you mean product
Roundup.
Roundup, the herbicide.
yeah, if there was something there, but like I said, the cameras are showing that the line is in great shape. Probably
Right.
because it was put in the swamp, but there's been no traffic over it. There's been no disturbance. There's been no,
Oh,
Yeah.
you
so
know,
no cracks,
in
no-
city streets, you got gas lines going in at a later date.
Yeah,
You got
it
all
hasn't
kinds of
been
construction
undisturbed.
work happening,
Yeah.
truck traffic and everything else. And that sewer line had to have been part of the original early 1960s. I don't know that it's ever been looked at. So,
It'd be interesting to look at it in a year to see if the sediment's starting to accumulate again.
yeah,
But like I said, that's been there since the sixties, so you got
and,
40 years of.
and to get to
40,
it, you
50
gotta
years.
do it like right at the right time, you know? We gotta keep the right of way clear like we've been doing, and then, like, you can't get in there, like, in May, it's not all getting overgrown, but the ground is saturated, so you can't get equipment in.
Right.
So if we keep it clear and then get in there, like I said, they got in there the week of July 1. They were in there for probably 9 days. So I haven't seen that bill yet, but that's gonna be an extra beyond
Yeah.
the typical, but it is
But
what
it's
it is,
well
and
worth
we
it.
really need to get it done. So I think it was a really good thing that we
You
got
really
there.
should have great flow after this.
And then the plus side is it wasn't, there was no leakage coming in.
You
Yeah.
recall what, you know what pipe it was? Was
It was the
it
line,
asbestos or?
it
is
goes from,
concrete or-
vitrified clay, which I didn't realize this, they cast them in 3-foot pieces. So there's a joint
There's-
every 3
not to-
foot.
Not to defer, but they're 5-foot pieces.
Okay.
Cause I've seen it when they.
But the
put
point
it
is
in.
with that many joints
Joints,
and
yeah.
not having that
Not
much
having
leakage coming in,
yeah.
you know, I think we're good as far as the
Very
condition.
good,
And that was really it. I have a couple other items, but they're already on the agenda. We'll get to those as they come up.
Okay, well, why don't we just move on then to new business, and we'll start with the water main replacement and the modification.
All right, a couple of things with the water main. I sent out a memo that tried to summarize the bids, so you got that with your email. The other thing that I submitted now for today's meeting is the spreadsheet. I was out last week, so I had asked Marius to kind of look into a couple of things for us. If you look at this spreadsheet here, what he did is if you go down the line to item number 15, which is the temporary paving, and line number 16 is the permanent. He made 2 adjustments, not he, but we discussed 2 adjustments. The adjustment we're looking at is to eliminate the temporary paving and go with permanent paving and reduce the 1-foot cutback. So what that does is it changes the quantity of temporary paving down to 0. So Marius plugged in 0 and then ran the spreadsheet across. And then if we eliminate the 1-foot cutback on either side of the trench, instead of that permanent pave being a 7-foot trench, it'd be a 5-foot trench. So instead of the quantity being 875 ton, it ratios out to 625 ton. And then he plugged the contractor numbers in for that. So if you go to the bottom line, total base bids, what it does is it gets the low bidder Rondano to below our approved 998,000. And then we carried those numbers across for the other three bidders, just to make sure then that no other bidder now is becoming the low bidder based on this, or that anyone would have a conflict with that. So basically, by making that change, the order of the bidders stays the same, but now it's just a matter of, do we want to go with that option among a few other options? So that's an explanation of the spreadsheet. We can get back to that. If you go to that 2-page memo, I kind of outlined what the options were on page 2. Basically, item number 1, I had Marius, contact the bidders, let them know that all 4 bids went over the budgeted amount. But really, no one's in a position to say, oh yeah, I'll lower my number to this or that. My number 2 is kind of what I just discussed. Although when I wrote this up, I was on vacation, and I had eliminate the temporary paving on Oakland Heights. What the contractor meant was to eliminate the temp paving on the entire job. So that's what the spreadsheet reflects.
Okay.
And then 3, 4, and 5 were just 3 other options, but again, they were more significant scope changes. One would be to eliminate completely Oakland Heights as a street. That would get our number down. Number 4 was to eliminate a small piece of Maple Lane and also change Oakland Heights from 8 to 6, which again, either one of those options, 3 or 4, I don't think are as good an option as number 2. And then the last option was just to keep the high bids and kind of start our process over with getting approvals on the higher dollar amount, which would end up having to go to a town referendum, which I'm not necessarily recommending that either at this point. So my recommendation out of all of these was to go with remove the temporary paving, go with the permanent paving. And as part of that, the contractor will maintain the paving for a year. Part of his, what he told us was he's done this down in Darien and New Canaan. They've been doing a lot of water main installations for Aquarian. He gave me contact names. I did speak at length today with the Darien Public Works Director. He was happy with the state of the paving as it's left by Rondano. They typically jump in and then they do a curb-to-curb reclaim. So he's only leaving it like that for like a season, and then the town is jumping in anyway. I don't know that we're able to say we're going to do it that way, but
Okay.
at least what I wanted to hear from him was he satisfied with the
And they-
paving job that Rondano was doing?
And they were?
And he was. So not the best situation, but we do have some options to consider.
And what, the upper limit was $998, right?
998,000, not to exceed.
Not to exceed. So with with option number 2, if I got the right spreadsheet here, that Rondano can bring this in for $976,692, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, you see, the second bidder, Grasso, gets much closer to him, but that's because really, he had a higher unit price on the items that we're eliminating. So really, changing that number really was helping out the higher bidders than it was helping out Rondano. But like I said, with that change, it didn't change the order of the bidders.
Yeah. Okay.
15 and 16 were the only 2 things that were changed?
Correct. And on the original bids, I think that, I don't,
Well, and also we changed the allowance for police.
oh, I'm sorry, yes, we did, number 25 was just a number that we put in as an allowance for all the bidders. In the original bids, we had 50,000. The Grasso job is gonna probably be closer to 40. It may be a little bit under or a little bit over. So, just for the purposes of this spreadsheet, we made it 40 instead of 50. Even if we put it back to the 50, then Rondano's number would be 986, and we would still be under the 998. But I was comfortable leaving that allowance as 40,000.
Alright, so, but after they dig the ditch, they're gonna patch it.
They're
It's
gonna-
just we're not putting a permanent temporary patch in
He's gonna pave it once.
once, right, okay.
So, the typical paving for temporary would be, I think it's 14 inches of processed gravel with a 2-inch temporary. So what he'll do now is he'll put in the processed gravel,
14.
and then he's gonna pave it in 2 courses,
4 inches.
2.5 followed by a 1.5.
Is he gonna do some special compaction for that?
You don't normally do any special compaction, he's gonna do the same kind of compaction.
No, because sometimes we get these ruts, especially on the newer roads down there. I saw something just on Judd, for instance. It just got,
Oh, it's at least where they cut the ladder.
no, it was a little further down yet.
Yeah.
Down further down, that's where
Yeah.
they had the water main break.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the water undermined part of that road.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's why we're getting those.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trench paving is gonna come out as good as he does his compaction. And that's why I wanted to at least hear from some other towns that he's doing work in,
Yeah.
and they were satisfied.
We've used Rundown.
He worked in his
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish Kelly was still here. He said, yeah, they did do a water main. I don't know what
They
year.
worked in his town down before.
Yeah, he did Beth Page, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kelly
Yeah,
was
so-
happy with Rondano's work.
Now, is there any specification on the compaction lift that in the fill in the ditch? Are they gonna compact it up? What are you gonna do?
Is it specified in lifts?
It's specified lifts, they have to do small lifts and basically compact it as they go, and there's really no compaction test, because you can't really compact the gravel too much, it's a stone, so.
Well, you can consolidate it, you don't
Solid,
compact
right,
it,
yeah,
you
they're gonna
consolidate it
compact
all
it
the
as
way
they
up.
normally do it, yep.
Right.
The key is, if you're gonna put 4 feet of material in and then compact it, that's not
Yeah,
gonna
but they
work.
consolidate it as they go up.
It's gotta be
Don't
done in lifts,
compact, right,
correct.
consolidate it.
That's, we just wanna make sure that that is so.
But that's the problem they have is when you do a permanent patch, is that there's no leeway for the thing to settle. Once it settles, you're screwed.
Right.
Is that correct?
And he's coming back if it settles, so
Okay.
and I did ask the other town if that was the case as well, and he said yes. But he said there was very little settlement on like 2.5 miles of pipeline that he did. I think there was,
And you're talking $2,000 difference between the two bids?
yeah, about $2,000.
Well, that's after the price adjustment.
That's
Yeah,
with
the
this,
price
that's with
is-
this adjustment.
We're not gonna get feedback from, pushback from Grass, are we?
I wouldn't think so, because the contract does allow us to
That
modify
was
quantities.
just, I was just gonna ask that, if it was in the bid specs, that we could
There's,
do that.
yeah, so by us modifying quantities, and it's done on contracts, you hold the contractor's unit prices.
And this included, Maple Avenue?
This included Maple, this includes Oakland with an 8-inch main, so it includes everything. Now Pleasant was an alternate, and Pleasant didn't make the cut because the bids came in over the amount. So even with this, Pleasant is not included.
It'll be in the next.
Pleasant will have to be in a future contract.
Was President included with
I
the original
thought
price
Maple-
when we went to the town?
Pleasant
Was that part of it?
it was put in as an alternate,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was the Maple Avenue one that we did. Not Maple Avenue, Maple Lane?
Maple Lane.
Maple Lane.
No, the plans had Pleasant as an alternate. Because Maple was Mansfield coming back,
Well, Maple
Right.
Lane's only a short stretch.
Right.
and we didn't want to leave that short piece of 4-inch, between the 2 8-inch. And it was part of a loop,
I
so,
thought that was-
According to the Board of Selectmen minutes, Maple Lane was the alternate.
Maple Lane was the alternate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the Board of Selectmen passed. And Maple Lane is an alternate to be forwarded. Can I
Okay.
speak now?
Yeah.
You can't do what you wanna do. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, you're changing the specs, all right? And you're so close, especially between two of them, you're gonna have a problem with Grasso.
Right.
But that's not the big issue. The big issue is, although the average person sitting out there at the town meeting doesn't know from 6-inch curbing to 10-inch curbing, all right, you're not giving them what they voted for. You have a choice. You can go back and do the whole thing all over again at a higher amount, and go to referendum.
Rebid?
That's right. Well, no, you can rebid it, but if you rebid it, you gotta rebid it exactly the way it is.
Oh.
and let these guys make a decision if they wanna lower their costs or not.
Okay.
If you don't, and you're gonna change the specs now, you can still leave it under 998, but you gotta go back through the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, and hold a new town meeting. And then just tell them, the reason why is they came in over, we've changed the specs, we've reduced the specs, this is now what we're voting on. I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but that's the simple truth of the matter. And it sounds kinda silly, it's like I said before, if we were already into this project, we accepted the bids, they came in what they were supposed to do, like what happened with the sewer project. And 6 months from now, we discovered we had to have change orders, they ran into problems, and the cost was gonna be greater, then, yes, you could go back and start making cuts.
No problem.
But not when we haven't put a shovel in the ground, you can't do that.
So what's, for either Tom and or Marty, what's the best way to redo this thing without having to go to a referendum?
I think you go back and you use the same number, 998, but what you do is you change the specs to what he's talking about to lower the costs, and then put it back out to bid again.
Okay.
To re-advertise it and rebid it as is, I don't think you're gonna get lower numbers,
Yeah, right.
because they've already given us their numbers.
And you just go back through the motions again and go through it. And
Okay.
when somebody asked, didn't we vote on this? Yes, but they were over. and-
Okay, for future reference then, is there a way to structure the resolution on the front end to give us the flexibility to make this kind of a change if things come in over budget?
Well, if we took more options as alternates, then we could pick and choose.
Right.
Right, is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta throw more options in.
Yeah.
Do we have to, list the streets the way they're listed as part of the, what gets approved? Or
Well-
can it be listed as the project?
What are you gonna do if somebody asks you what streets are gonna be done? That's the question I would ask.
Just put the streets in and add alternates to it, when the bid comes up, you got an alternate, you
You
can
can
pick it,
remove
you
one.
can make changes.
Then you could remove the street.
Like you could,
So you put more
Right.
streets as alternates?
Right, as an alternate, and then say, I came over, so we have to cut back on these streets.
Right.
Or I shoot for less footage so that we're comfortably within. I kinda cut it close.
Don't lock yourself into something like that, always
Yeah.
ask for more, and if you got more, then you can always take less.
Yeah.
Don't go less and ask for more.
No, it's true. You can put them in put in additional alternates.
Yeah.
That's right, as an alternate, and say, wait a minute, they put the alternate in, it's overbid, we gotta go back with this number.
All right, so I want to put a motion on the floor, but how should I phrase that?
just a motion that you send it back to the Board of Finance the Board of Selectmen to approve the $998,000 based on the specs that have been changed by
Okay,
the Public Utilities Director.
okay.
And
You
then
get
it
that,
goes
Ken?
to
Hopefully
Board-
it should fly.
And then that should go to Board of Finance.
That's right. And then we have a new town meeting and
Okay, so moved.
Now, what about the street thing?
well, you might wanna clarify that now, what it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Maple Lane. like
Yeah,
you
that's
said.
why I mentioned it, because of.
Maple
I
Lane
mean,
was thicker.
you obviously aren't going to, you're not gonna have enough money to do Maple Lane anyway, based on the bids that came in.
No, I think we'll reword it and we'll make Pleasant the alternate.
Alternate.
Because we wanted to keep Maple because it kinda closed, a better loop.
The loop, yeah.
Now Pleasant is part of a loop as well, but getting out of that corner where Maple is just made more sense. It's a short piece, rather than leaving 160 feet of 4-inch.
So Marty, so can we change the alternate from Maple to Pleasant?
Yeah, you could do, you're starting all over.
Because we're starting all over.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion that we forward, how should I phrase that? The adjusted specifications to the Board of Selectmen in the amount of $998,000.
And why don't you just say, put Maple Lane in and take out Pleasant Street, right? Was it Pleasant Street?
Yeah.
We left, include Maple Lane in the list of streets and then designate Pleasant Street as the alternate.
Okay.
So I'll have to get that language to you for the
tomorrow.
Board of Selectmen's meeting.
Why would you designate Pleasant Street as an alternate when you know it's gonna drive you right over the top?
We can just
Why not
take it out.
leave it
Yeah,
on?
we can just take it out. No, you're right.
All right, so remove that.
So we're removing.
So you're removing Pleasant Street?
I don't know, I'd leave it in, and see what the bids come in.
Well, you might get somebody.
Because they know there's a limited amount of money there. Maybe
If we leave it in, we don't have to modify the plans as much, because they're already on the plans.
Okay, then we'll leave it in.
That would be the only good reason to leave it on there.
Okay,
Designate Pleasant as an alternate.
what's that?
We're designating Pleasant Street as an alternate.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, was there a second to that?
Second.
Okay, all right.
Do we have to go back to the state?
Well, we have to let them know that we rebid it, but the state hasn't reviewed it.
They don't have to
They don't
review
review
it.
it now, you're not
Alright.
changing the specs, yeah, they just, you just have to let them know that we're gonna be re-advertising, and so just, you have to do that in April again, but it's, you know, the specs and drawings are ready, there's really not much change, we just have to change the quantities, on one page, and we're ready to go, so.
Okay, all right. Well, that was crystal clear, thank you. Any other questions?
That's on my vitreous clay.
All right, hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Tomorrow night, we have a regular board selectmen meeting, so we can add that, if the agenda's already posted, but we can just dispatch that item very quickly.
And the wording that we had previously, sure, Dion, you know, we could probably just
Yeah.
resurrect it again and just
Sure.
modify it.
Yep, we'll do that. All right. Okay, we got that. Item 2, generator projects.
Okay, I got DPH approval of their eligibility for the drinking water state revolving fund dollars. So I've gotten 3 bids, I've gotten the state to okay that they're eligible for funding. And at this point, I'd like to, you know, go ahead and proceed with the new generator at Briarcliff and a replacement generator at Eureka. I can give you the brief.
Generator on Briarcliff is a permanent structure.
Correct. For Briarcliff, I got 4 bids. Cannondale generator was the low bidder at $18,884. I had Shock Electric at $24,598. GDL Services, $32,723. And True Blue Environmental, $44,694.
What's the size of that generator there?
It's 15 kW.
This is Briarcliff, right?
Briarcliff, correct.
Must be a lot of labor.
Who's the low bidder?
Cannondale
Cannondale.
at 18,884.
So 14, I think, at home. I wouldn't pay nothing like that.
And for Eureka, I got 3 bids. 2 are very close. One is Shock Electric was about $800 more than Cannondale, but Shock was including some additional work that Cannondale was not including, which was, I think, more than $800 worth of work. The exhaust and the intake duct work, Shock was including that, Cannondale was not. And the other big,
Did he give you an alternate on the ductwork? You can't, they'll give you an alternate on the ductwork? Or they just said we're not gonna do it?
they weren't including that. They wanted me to get a price on doing that.
That's what I just, yeah, okay.
So the one at Eureka is gonna be an internal generator.
Internal. The other big thing that I want to go with Shock for was they are going with a Kohler unit, which was a narrower unit that can actually fit through the doorways. The Cannondale unit was too wide for the door. Their 2 options were going to either be take it out through the block wall, which was then going to require some demo and some reconstruction, or take out the door frame, which again was some additional work that Shock didn't need to do. So the numbers were, Shock was at $23,965. Cannondale was at $23,126.
What's the
And-
size of that generator?
That is a 50 kW.
Well, that makes sense.
So I'm recommending we go with Shock, even though they're 800 more, but they're gonna include more
And then
work.
fuel oil,
Yes,
both of them,
yes,
self-contained unit.
yes.
The Cannondale one for Briarcliff is diesel, or is it gas?
Diesel. And Eureka's diesel as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And whose brand was it Generac that, Cannondale?
Cannondale was looking at another Generac, and Shock was looking at a Kohler. So with them being that close, and with Shock including some extra demo and such, and other work, it was more than the 800 bucks. And I think it's a good idea, at least, give, Shock did the electrical work at the Briarcliff station. I think it's worthwhile to engage with them, and having another electrician that you're comfortable with is always a good idea.
Now, the one at Briarcliff, how are we gonna protect that?
We got that huge boulder, there's a couple of
No, no,
boulders.
Not from cars,
Oh.
but vandalism. Did we put a fence around there?
We've already got the cabinets there, we've already got the
No, I'm not
controls.
knocking
No,
I'm
he's
just
asking
saying.
about a fence.
I'm talking about security.
Security.
That's gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
We've already got the two cabinets are sitting there at Briarcliff.
I understand it. But you're gonna put a generator there too, so it can be exposed to vandalism.
Well,
It's out of sight, out of mind.
It's usually a locking
Yeah,
cabinet.
cabinet,
Um,
no different than one that's out here.
It's
How-
it's only about this big.
How big is, how big is the fuel tank on that? Is that anything like that thing that sticks out there like a
It's gonna be,
sore thumb?
it's gonna be an under the.
All right, but it's a smaller tank, it's
Oh,
not
oh,
very
yeah.
big.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't have a monstrosity there?
No. I don't know off the top of my head, I don't know the size of the fuel tank.
Probably 100-gallon tank. Oh, I'm sorry, is that diesel?
It's diesel.
Okay.
Probably burns around 5 gallons an hour normally, 3.5 to 5.
All right, do you want individual, motions on this?
Yeah, probably.
I'll make a motion that we approve the, Cannondale generator for the amount of, I think it's $18,884, is that
Mhm.
correct? For the Briarcliff pump station?
Second?
Now, okay, does that include a pad? Are they putting a pad in?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so it's a complete job?
Correct.
Okay.
New transfer switch, new pad.
Right, there's
Yeah,
no transfer.
Yeah, it's
switch.
it's gonna include installation, testing.
Okay.
You're gonna recycle weekly or every 2 weeks?
Yeah, we'll probably set it up for weekly.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to approve the Briarcliff generator award to Cannondale in the amount not to exceed $18,884. Those in favor?
Aye.
It carries.
I'll make a motion that we approve the generator for Eureka to Shock Electric in the amount of $23,936. Is that the
Not,
right number?
965.
Nine
Yeah,
six-
23,965.
Nine,
And I'll
6, 5.
second that. Any other comments, questions? Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That carries. Okay, very good. Moving on to old business, capital projects.
Okay,
Darius.
let's put my hand on here. So the 2018 water main replacement, I think Tom and Kelly talked about it, so I think they're moving quite along. We may request a letter from them, because I think they're up to their construction timeline, so we're gonna try to ask for an updated schedule to figure out when they're gonna be down the street, but I think they're moving quite along. I hear they weren't here in the springtime, but they finally showed up, so I guess they're gonna try to finish it up. We're gonna ask for a revised schedule when they're gonna be done with that project. Additional groundwater supplies to Bergstrom well field. So I guess, the Connecticut DEP, review our initial report, they provided some preliminary comments, and we provided some responses back to them. That was back in July, so I think they're gonna be making the final decision soon. On the diversion permit, how much, water they're gonna be able to get from the well. And then, once we know the number, I'm actually gonna be meeting with Tom probably in the next week or two to talk about some options for the pilot study, for the, basically treat that water. So that's gonna be coming out as the next phase. and that part of the work is gonna be included as town's construction grant loan for the project. The Chestnut Ridge tank, so, back in, I think it was, June, we submitted the planning, zoning, inland wetland applications, and we also attended the inland wetlands and planning and zoning public hearings on July 22nd and July 23rd. So right now we're waiting for the, decisions from both boards on the project, so.
Did they walk the
Yes,
site?
they also walked the site, so that was part of the site visit, so, I think the inland and wetlands is meeting tonight to make the final decisions. I think the planning and zoning is meeting on the 6th.
Okay.
So the public hearings are closed, and, we should be hearing soon about that. And then we also submitted the Connecticut DPH financial funding application, part 1 for the tank project, so that's part of the grant money to get it moving and get it approved. So, Connecticut DPH reviewing it. So, after we hear from the boards, we're gonna be moving to the final design. I think I was talking about the bidding schedule for the tank. I think we wanted to try to get out to bid early November, September for construction for next year. So after we get, all the comments from the boards, we're gonna be able to finalize the design drawings. And then, we have to submit to DPH for the final review. But then we'd like to get it out to bid sometime in November for basically, construction starting in April next year. So that's the schedule we have right now. I guess the 2019 water main replacements, we talked about, I'm not gonna spend time on going over that again. And then, Tom is still looking at the SCADA proposal from us, so. That's the update, so I don't have any questions on these projects, or?
Yeah, I have a question on the current water main replacement, from, Grasso. They're looking for an extension of time for the work?
No, they're not looking for extension. We're looking to get a letter from them, basically just with the updated schedule. That's what we wanna know when they're gonna be done.
Right, but are they within the time frame that we allowed?
I think the timeframe, I think the construction time was like by July 28th, I think, ended, so they're already beyond the construction time that they allow.
Well, they took the spring off. I'm not in favor, in the contract, Marty, is there delayed charges?
I've never seen the contract.
Yes, there's liquidated damages in the contract.
Well, I think we need to look at that because, they've been sitting, not working over there for several
Sure.
months. And it's not fair to the townspeople
Sure.
that, they have to live with that road and the dump trucks and the equipment parked there for a month or so.
But just so you know, this extension is more for us to get the okay from the state as far as like the loan is concerned.
Well,
That's
all right.
really the
All right.
extension that I'm suggesting that
All right.
we need to get.
If it's for that, but if it's for, if Grasso was supposed to be done July 29th, I wanna know why they weren't done for July 29th.
Yeah, because they weren't here in the month of
Well,
April,
right.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
so is there liquidated damages, and
Can you, who's got the contract?
Yeah, Tom has a contract, we'll have a contract too.
Want to scan it in or send it over? to me?
Sure.
Alright, and then, for the Chestnut Ridge tank, I happened to go to that meeting with planning and zoning. There was half a dozen neighbors there, they asked questions about, blasting, cutting the trees down, able to see the tank, and what color the tank was gonna be. Through Ray Pierce, they pointed out if there was a house built on the property, there would be more destruction of trees in the site. One of the questions also they asked about how many times people are gonna go in and out of the property there, and they said maybe possibly once a day, if that, versus someone in a home would be in and out a lot more, so it's gonna be a lot more quiet than a house.
You said they had to walk the property.
Yes,
Did you stake out with a tank? was?
yes,
And
we
you
did,
know where it was?
yes. Everything was taken out, the
How
tank,
many
the road.
how many square foot are we talking with this tank?
Oh, it's 63 feet in the area.
3,300 square feet, give or take.
Yeah, so the house is 3,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the driveway.
Right.
Plus the
Plus
septic
kids,
area.
plus noise.
Plus the loan in the back,
It doesn't
plus
make
the loan
any
in the back.
sense.
Don't forget the dogs.
No, but I'm just saying, it
And the
doesn't make
dogs,
any
yeah.
sense. They had to go walk, it's 300 square feet. I mean, come on. How many projects in town have they ever walked? It's a good thing there was no hill, that's why I have a hard time.
I got a call today from Julia from the News Times. She wanted an update on the project. And that was one of the things I emphasized, was that basically, you know, we're gonna have less impact than a residential home that would need a well, that would need a septic, that would need more area cleared for a front yard, the house, and a backyard, and so on.
One of the other questions were we gonna interfere with the aquifer in the area? So, they explained to them that we're pumping water from South Street up there, from the reservoir, from the wells.
You can't fix
It was interesting, but, you know, it was, you know, they wanted, to know the answers, and they were given the answers.
The only feedback I got was make sure you just landscape it so we don't see it. It's the
That's
same
correct.
thing that we had up at Eureka. I said, it's woods now, landscape it so.
Well, actually, what, I think the final outcome was that they're gonna put some extra money into, an allowance for landscaping after the fact.
Like within a year, if they want more landscaping. It can't be open-ended, but I think we'll be able to
Yeah.
basically accommodate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you need a formal motion on this extension as far as DPH is concerned with Grasso?
I don't think I do. Yeah, we've gotten extensions on some of the other, again, it's just so that the loan doesn't kick in any sooner than it needs to.
Okay. All right, very good. That concludes the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Pete seconded it. Right?
So moved, yeah.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Thank you.
They're worried about the tank for now, maybe.
But it's
you know, the
to
house
be
on the
expected,
side.
it's to be expected,
Yeah.
like the pool guys.
I think
Right
so.
here. Yeah.
Right, but they never worried about the.
Thanks,
tank.
Marius.
They gotta warn the guy.
Were you off,
No, no,
Kathy?
it comes, you know, you gotta
We're off.
take
We
it
revise the
out.
drawings now, we revise the drawings, inspections, and they're ready.
You're always gonna have some.
Yeah, we'll talk. I